Welcome to The Roofer Show with your host, Dave Sullivan. You found the podcast that helps roofing contractors grow their businesses, make more money, and have more free time.
Welcome to The Roofer Show, the place to be if you want to grow a more profitable roofing business. I'm your host, Dave Sullivan, the Roofer Coach, and sitting next to me is our co-host, John DeLaurier from Peach Roofing, Savannah, Georgia. What is going on, John?
What's up, Dave? Happy to be here today. Happy to talk about what we're going to talk about.
What are we going to talk about?
Funny to me and controversial. I don't know why, but I get why. But I also, I see both sides of it. It's conference season. We're recording this in the middle of September. I was just looking at the dates for the major conferences that I know about and have attended. But yeah, it's a lot of people will say, hey, this is a cash grab. We're just going to waste money and get drunk. And, it's just a thing to go watch people on stage. That may be true for some conferences. However, I have said this many times, but a couple different things have really drastically changed my businesses. One is honestly listening to the podcasts early on in my business, doing the things that you taught in the podcast. And the second thing would be going to conferences with a plan and I tried to actually learn new things. And then after the conference was over, actually implement and do those things. Those are the two biggest things that I honestly believe we're starting our 9th year right now in business. That's what's kept us going and kept us profitable. And my wife doesn't work. And it can be a really good thing to go to conferences if you have intentionality behind it.
Why do you think not that many people go to conferences? I know they do see it as a waste of time, or they don't think about it. They don't understand them. They do think it's a cash grab. What do you think, besides that they just don't spend or invest money on education, whether it's through coaching, whether it's going masterminds, learning from others? There's so much out there. Why do you think these guys just don't do it?
I think that there's a couple of reasons why individuals may not like the conferences or not go to the conferences. First of all, I don't know how you can hate the conferences if you've never been. So I kind of just put those people aside anyway. If you've never been to a conference, there can be bad ones and that can leave a bad taste in your mouth. I can understand that. But I do think that I've been thinking about this concept a lot, which is I think about we just left our gym. I'll just expose it right now. We left our gym. We love the people at our gym. There was an auto renewal, a whole big debacle. But I do believe that the owners of the gym are super nice people, but they are not great business owners. I think it's a big problem because they're trying to grow and they can't grow. They're struggling with these things, but they're not doing things that they've been. I have taken time to try to help them grow their business with the same concepts that we talk about with roofing. I think it's the same exact problem that a lot of guys have in the roofing space. We talk about, hey, you were in production or you were in sales and you think, I'm going to go start another roofing business, and it's going to be easy. Or even if you think it's going to be hard, you have no idea how difficult it is and what changes you have to make in your own self as a person, and you really have to become an entrepreneur. So if you've never been to a conference, I don't really listen to you. But if you've been to a conference and haven't had a good experience, I get it, but I also think that you can get at least 2 to 3 to 5 different little nuggets of information that can actually help move the needle in your business. That may be helping you plan for your organization chart. That may be more profitability, a sales tactic. There's could be sales training. There's all kinds of things that you can gain from each conference. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt when someone says they don't like conferences, because they're not really putting themselves as a business owner first and not a roofer. And that's the mentality you have to make these conferences even worth going to.
I think you also have a lot of guys that just aren't comfortable with reaching out, being in groups, introducing yourself, whether it's a cocktail party, whether it's a group of people, but just getting out there and meeting people.
Yeah, big crowds of people, not my thing. being on stage, I would never wish it upon myself ever. I totally get it. And I think that you're right. You said this many times before. If you're not good with people, you need to get out of the business. You got to stop being a business owner. So I totally hear what you're saying. There's a lot of guys like, I don't want to be in a big crowd. I don't want to go have to meet all these other roofers. Okay, fine. Go sit at a table in a corner like I do and meet two guys and then two other business owners that have the same struggles that you have. And then guess what? You're going to find solutions for each other. Hey, you should check this out because this was super helpful for me. You should check that out. This, breakout session was amazing. Reach out to them. It happens every single conference I go to. So you've got to just get over that. If you're not able to go in a big crowd, stop doing what you're doing. You have to. You're
right.
The network is your net worth is absolutely true. It is one of my biggest weaknesses. I am not good at networking. I do not like it. I do not like going to cocktail parties. I like meeting people, but in a smaller scale. I like doing one-on-one or one-on-two kind of meetings. And so if you're thinking about going to a conference, I would go and then just know that there's people like me that get massive benefit out of those conferences, and they don't have to be part of the crazy Eagle View party with drones flying everywhere. I still go to those parties, but I will be in the corner talking to one person. That's just generally, and I get a lot of value out of that.
You've just got to step out of your comfort zone and do these things. And this is a good one. This is what business is all about. And I'll tell you real quick, something that I did, I've done a lot. I've done a number of things to improve my business skills. And I think the best one was I went to Dale Carnegie class that they had. And this was, I think it was over 10 weeks. So once a week, very expensive class, but small group. It was great. And I took my son, who at the time was 16 years old, and these are business people. And he got so much out of it, and he really kicked ass. I was really proud of him. But what you learn are, number one is public speaking. You have to be able to do public speaking, okay, and feel comfortable in front of a group, whether it's your team, your business. You've got to be able to organize your thoughts, speak clearly, come up with your CTA, whatever it is that you're going to ask for, perhaps. But you can go to Toastmasters. Okay, Toastmasters is a great organization. It's almost free, but it gets you up there practicing. Okay, but the Dale Carnegie, you learn public speaking. But what you also learn is how to mingle in a crowd, how to meet people, because there are certain icebreakers that you can use. And there's like three of them. I'm not going to get into them, but those are the kind of things that you can come in and break into any crowd and go talk to people. How you shake hands, how you wear your name tag. All of these things matter. It gives you confidence, and just on and on. How do you network and so forth. So get involved with those kind of things, or just get out there and do it. I mean, I've been to hundreds of conferences. I've spoken at them. I've been on the boards of these groups, and that's why I don't really do it much anymore, because, flying is a pain in the ass, man. Travel and going to a lot of these kind of out of the way places. So it is so important. It really is. And you've just got to step out. And as you said, John, if you say, I'm not really a people person, you're in the wrong business, because that's all we've got around here is people. And you better learn how to deal with them. And the other thing that I find is, I'm very curious about people. So it's easy for me to meet people, ask questions, and that's the thing, is ask questions of other people. We always talk about, hey, did you get any return questions when we're out? They're like, oh, no, they didn't ask me one thing. It's just, hey, let's just talk about you the whole time. No, it's a tennis game. Anyway, don't get me going on all that. So let's get into the conferences. And I think what's important, what I find, and I think what we're going to talk about, is you've got to have a strategy on how you're going to attack these things. Because why are you going to a conference? Okay, if you're just going to go there, as you say, to go get drunk and screw around and do this and go to some nice places, perhaps, you're wasting your time. You've got to have a strategy of how you're going to attack these things, what it is clearly that you want to get out of them, and how you're going to implement them. Because the biggest problem, I don't care if it's a seminar, it's a conference, whatever it is, you get all this good information, you come back after the weekend, you're all fired up, and then the rest of the, everyday crap, falls in on you, and you never implement any of this stuff. That's the problem. So, John, I'm going to let you run with this because you're going to all the conferences. You guys have booths. You're doing this and that. So, tell us about it. Which conferences are coming out that are worthwhile? The ones that you like because you've been to all of them, and how do they differ? Because maybe some aren't right for our guys and so forth. So. Hit it, John. Tell us what it's all about.
So I have not been to all of them. I've been to a few of them several times. So I have a good experience about going to the conferences, and I won't beat a dead horse of actual main stage speakers that have drastically changed my life, changed our business's life, breakout sessions that have absolutely changed my business, and then the individual connections that I have made that have actually carried over into not just owning the roofing business, but also Proline as well. And that's why Proline goes to these conferences as well, because that's our target market. So if you're a residential retail roofing contractor, there's two main conferences that I see of value. There's some regional ones. There's like the Western and there's the regional ones that are good. But basically RoofCon and the Roofing Process Conference, those are the two best conferences, I think, that if you're a residential retail roofing contractor, you should be going to at least one or both of them. So just real quick, RoofCon's coming up in 35 days since we're recording this. So that's going to be October 23rd to 25th in Orlando. And then the Process Conference is December 4th through 6th at the JW Marriott in Marco Island, Florida. That's going to be awesome too. So I've been to these conferences, not RoofCon, but I do know a lot of people that have been that really get a lot of value out of RoofCon. So I highly recommend both of those conferences if you're residential roofing. You need to go with intent. These guys all want you to be high integrity. They want you to have high profit margins. They want you to treat your customers well. Those are the types of contractors that are going. It's 3,000 to 5,000 people generally. It's probably a little bit more than that this year, but it's a really good experience. Not a lot of crazy partying and strippers. If you are looking for like a just intentional way to better your business, those are the two: RoofCon and Roofing Process Conference. Sign up for those. I can't speak highly enough for those. Let's go. If you're a commercial contractor, I know there's a lot of regional commercial contracting conferences. Dave, you know a lot about those on the West Coast. There are definitely like manufacturer sponsored ones that I see a lot. That happen in Atlanta, specifically for the Southeast, a lot, for coatings and just for new commercial systems. But if you want to go to a conference, the IRE is actually really helpful. The International Roofing Expo is the biggest one. It is very exciting to go. I've been several times, but I think that you're going to get the most value if you're a commercial contractor, because there's new tools, there's new systems and processes like for software there. But there's just a lot of equipment that you may not know about, or maybe labor services. There's a lot of things at the high level that I do think if you go with intent, you can find. The same vendors from the residential go there too, but I think a lot of the commercial contractors would get benefit if they go with intent. And then finally, When the Storm is kind of it's changed ownership or changed kind of mentality. I had a bad rap for a long time. I think they've actually really improved When the Storm conference. And that's if you are a storm chaser and you work storm restoration for roofing contractors, that's the conference that I would recommend to go to if that's your business model. You're going to do storms and that's all you do. You live in a storm area, you chase storms. When the Storm is a fantastic option for those. So those are our 4 recommendations. Really, I think they're consistently high quality. But again, you have to go with intent, have a plan, and and actually implement after you learn those things. So those are the conferences I'd recommend.
Yeah, I always went to the IRE. Well, this is before they really had most of these. The IRE was the big one. That was the national. I've met you and AJ down there a couple of times, and I think it's a huge, huge show, and I think it's more for commercial roofers. They have breakouts. They've got great speakers. Um, um, oh God, what our attorney that we use, John, he's always speaking down there, and
Philip Siegel?
Philip Siegel, thank you. And he's great, and you learn a lot from those type of things. Um, what I like about these are they're smaller and they're more focused on breakout sessions, I think, and you can really learn a lot in smaller groups, and that's what I think is great about these. They've got some great speakers. Most of these guys we've had on our show. I know that Adam. Is always speaking down there. Becca Switzer, we have Brad Akers, a bunch of guys, and they're always really focused on how you can improve your business, and you're gonna walk out of there with some real action steps. So I really like those. So okay, let's say we're gonna pick one or two. How do we attack these things to get the most out of them?
All right. So again, I can only speak from my own experience, but I see differences going back from 6 or 8 years ago. So here's my plan was: I'm spending a lot of money, a few $1,000, $2,000 to $3,000 total, travel, food, everything, ticket, all of that. Obviously, if you get really high level, your vendors will just give you tickets, so you can save money doing that. And then the hotels are actually somewhat affordable. But you're spending all this money. Why are you going? What are you doing? If you're going to spend this money in this time away from your family, probably, why are you doing this? So if I'm going to do all that, I don't want to make my wife mad for no reason. I want to have a reason to make her mad. So what I did was I said, I have these problems in my business. I listened to the Roofer Show podcast. I was like, I'm doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. I need to come. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what I don't know, but I'm going to go to this conference. I'm going to try to find answers for these problems. So I did. I went there, listened to Marcus Sheridan one year. He did amazing stuff with They Ask You Answer. Everybody talks about that now. We've been doing that for a long time. Drastically helped change our business. Customers talk about those videos that we made all the time. That's just one thing. That's just one main stage speaker. You go to the breakout sessions. Again, you're like, they have titles to the breakout sessions of what you can sign up for. And there's a room of between usually 20 to 50 people in those rooms, and they're all focusing on one specific small thing that you can actually interact with the speaker there. Again, get all the swag that you can, put it in your bag that they give you. At the end of the night or the evening, more like the late afternoon, when everyone's about to get ready for dinner, instead of just going to dinner, go to your room, open your bag up, and just vomit all of the information that you just had. I usually carry one of these little black books. So these little black books, I have a bunch of these. I will take notes on things that that's important that I saw. Hey, that's actually could be helpful. So I'll take all the business cards, all those other things, and I will immediately sign up for the demos if it's a software thing, or schedule a call with a material supply vendor, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Schedule it right then, that day. It's hot. It's fresh on your mind. It's you're gonna forget in 2 days. So schedule those things for a couple days after the conference is over, and try to figure out if it makes sense. It's going to be busy. You're going to get back to your business and it'll be busy. But if you schedule those appointments, you're way more likely to actually learn real information that can help your business, and then actually do those things that can help you change your business for the better. So that's just the quick tip that I do. And also another little side note, they have like the vendor section. Don't go during the vendor section. You can. They have breakout sessions for the vendors. Do that. But what I try to do is sneak out of a big speaker like a main speaker for that's talking whoever's there, and I try to go to the vendor section when no one's in those rooms, because then you can just go directly beeline it to the people that you think you want to talk to, and you're going to get real meaningful conversations. So that's something else that I do just to make sure that I actually get the most out of those things, because I can't talk to everybody. There's a line of people or whatever it is. I just
Right.
want to actually, I'm there again. My wife's not super happy. My kids are at home. I'm taking time away from them. I need to be intentional about why I'm there.
What I like to do is maybe, let's say, what are the problems you're having in your business that you're looking for solutions for and that you could use help? Let's say, for instance, you're thinking of switching CRMs. Okay. You should just go to Proline and forget all the rest of the stuff because this is the way to do it. But if you want to go see all the CRMs, you're going to have a strategy and go talk to all those guys, Job Nimbus, AccuLinks, you know, Roofar, and all of these, and have your questions ready. What's important to you? Does it do this? Does it do that? And meet the people that are going to actually give you a full demo. Okay. And as John says, you set that up and have a strategy about that, because you're going to, the goal is to take one or two, maybe three nuggets from this show and implement them. You got to implement them. Everybody goes to these seminars all the time. I've got a stack of them over there, covered in dust. You get home and shit hits the fan, and you're just not going to get them implemented. You forget everything. As John says, take notes, be strategic. I also like to say, there's five people that I want to meet. Okay. And like John's a great guy to go meet. He's obviously a wealth of knowledge. So you should go talk to him. Great guy. Go up there and introduce yourself. Practice your introductions. Okay. Go up there and just, hey, I hear you on the Roofer Show all the time. It's great. Love what you do. Boom, get a conversation going. So that strategy going in, I think, really helps. That's the plan that I like to have. And I'm going to bang these things out. I'm going to, a CRM and maybe, an estimating program or something like that you want to find out more about and dig in, because you've got to make some decisions. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really funny when I'm at the conferences. I actually will be. It's the first year I won't be at the Roofing Process Conference, and the first year I will be at RoofCon with Proline's booth. And the number of people that walk up to me is pretty funny, because you guys listening and watching know what I look like, and I don't know what you look like. Like, hey, I'm like, it's very funny every year when we're doing the booth. They're like, hey, I listen to you on the show all the time. I'm like, how's it going? there's quite a few people who do that. So yeah, come say hi to us. Whether you want to do a Proline demo or not, but I'll be around that booth. And the roofing industry, the residential roofing industry specifically, is not that big of a community. It seems there's a lot of money in the hundreds of millions of dollars, but the players, the key players, just not that many. If you go to all the conferences for years, you see the same people there because they're the ones that are doing business well. And they may be vendors for roofers, or they may just be other contractors that are growing and improving. But that's like a cheat code for me, because I can see people who have lasted a long time. You have to come with the mentality of like, I'm starting a business, or I've been in business for X amount of years. There's no plan B for me. I'm going to be in business as long as I want to be in business. And that's going to be, it's more than 10 years. It's more than 15 years. It's probably more than 20 years, unless something crazy happens. I don't know, whatever happens, but you have to think that way. So find people who've been in business for a long time, who've made all the mistakes, and you can hopefully avoid making those same mistakes and be more profitable and have more time. Like that was my goal always, is to find people like that, either vendors or other roofing contractors that I can learn from.
And that's really what it's all about. The smart guy doesn't learn from his own mistakes. they learn from they learn from the mistakes of others. Okay. And it's a lot easier that way. So you can talk to people that have all this experience. And when you get around a network, it's just so beneficial. And this is why we have mastermind groups, peer groups, because getting together and being able to do that networking where you meet someone and now you've got an ally, you got a non-competing contractor that you can contact, you can call, you can ask questions, and you can help each other. That is what it's all about. And these conferences, they're just wide open. That's the purpose. So you go down there. Another great thing is all these coaches will be there. Everybody should have a business coach, a mentor. Okay, whether it's us or somebody else, there's a lot of them. Okay, this gives you a chance to meet people and see if it's a good fit one-on-one. You can talk to them. They're all going to be there. John will be there representing us. I don't travel that much anymore.
I'll be there. But I was thinking about this today. I've started doing another workout program, and my trainer has a trainer. Like, think about that. Like, this is a super fit individual. He has a trainer as well. And if you're not doing that, and you're not trying to put people in your life that can help keep you accountable, you're just not going to perform at the highest level. Like, even these elite trainers, this is an elite trainer, has a trainer. Even like the highest level roofing, the smartest roofing company owners also have coaches as well. So, and it doesn't have to be us. It needs to be someone, though. You need to be finding somebody who shares the same values that you do, shares the same goals, wants to help you, and put that as just part of your expense. Like, that is what we invest. I'm willing to invest in this every month so that I perform at the highest level I can. And I'm, kept accountable as well.
It's the best investment you can make is to be hanging out with experienced guys that have been there and done it. My son-in-law is a professional golfer. The guy's got a swing coach. He's got a putting coach. He's got a shrink coach, it's going to keep his mind right. All of these things, because it's going to make you better. The investment that you make is just a return. 10 times the return. And this is why we see guys that are just stuck. I get these calls. Yeah, I've been doing $3 million for the last 5 years. I can't seem to get any traction. Well, you're just doing the same old thing over and over again. You don't have these other ideas, somebody that's going to look at your business and say, hey, have you tried this? This is what would work. This is what's worked for so many other contractors. Give this a shot. So those are the things that you can learn. John, what is it that your goal is this year? What are you looking to take away from these shows?
So even though I'm going as a vendor for ProLine, I'm kind of like sneakily not going to be a vendor. I'm going to just be a roofing contractor. But if people want to talk to me, I'm here to give my opinion. Since I haven't been to RoofCon, I'm first of all excited to be at a new place with new vendors and it's a very similar mission to Roofing Process, but it's just the same mentality. There's a lot of crossover in those contractors. I'm excited to learn what I don't know. That's really what it is that there's nothing specific that I need necessarily, but there may be something that can make me more efficient, lower my overhead, increase my profit, make staffing easier. I don't know. There's always something that I find. I'm easily inspired by main stage speakers if they're really good. But I need to actually take what they say and push it forward in my life. So it could be anything. It could be a main stage speaker. It could be a breakout session. It could be another vendor I meet. I think those are the three things you have to focus on. So I'm excited about all three of those possibilities.
I think I'm going to go down and check them out because so many of the guests on the show I've never met before, and I certainly would like to. They're great people. I have a chance to talk to them. And that's one of the reasons that I bring the guests on that I do is because I watch a lot of these guys, watch a lot of video, listen to a lot of podcasts. And I said, well, I'd really like to know more about these people. I'm curious and always enjoy meeting other people, always learn something. That's why I love doing our mastermind group. I always come out of that every week learning new things. And you've always got to be receptive to that, as opposed, you come to these things, check your ego at the door, man. I mean, just go in there and soak it up. And you don't have to listen to all these blowhards that they're all talking about. I did $20 million. First thing is, freaking roofers are liars, all right? So when all these guys, you meet these guys, they're all talking about all the great things they're doing. God's gift to roofing. Believe me, I've seen a lot of guys come and go, and never be intimidated by that. You do $1 million? Hey, that's great. That's huge. You know how many few people do that, accomplish that in their life? You should be proud of that. And screw these guys that are all talking about how scaling their business and doing that, because half of them don't make any money. It's just, Anyway, okay, so we've picked up all this stuff. We've actually spent the time there. We've taken notes. We've got a strategy. Now we're going to come back, and how are we going to implement this stuff? What are we going to do? I got all these great ideas rolling around in my head, which everybody does, because we all have ADHD. Otherwise, you wouldn't be running a business like this. Okay. So it's hard for us to be an integrator and implement the things that we've learned. What's a couple of tips they can do to make sure that they get something out of that? Because the only thing that matters is what you implement. The rest of it's a bunch of crap, okay? Doesn't matter, but what you implement and what changes your business, what moves the needle, that's what's important.
Yep. I mean, the same time you're scheduling all these demos and things of things you don't know, that's when you find a coach and you schedule a coaching call. That's just it. You go to the Roofer Show, schedule a call with Dave, Jim Johnson, any of these guys. They are. You need to find someone who will talk about your business and the problems that you have and come up with solutions, or at least an accountability plan for that. That's what you got to do. You need somebody to help you. You may know it. It's just as each day passes, as you have come back home and gotten back to normal life, is less and less likely that you will actually implement those things. So you need somebody being like, hey, did you do this thing? Did you do this thing? That's what you need. That's what I need. That's what everybody needs. So that's what I'd say. Go to the conferences, be intentional, be open-minded, take notes, dump out the bag every night, schedule the demos, come home, schedule a coaching call, and actually change your life and change your business. That's the plan. That's how conferences can actually help change you.
Take action and implement, okay? And this also gives you a chance, just to wrap up. We were talking earlier about how, what's going on. Well, right now, what do we got? 2 months to just pour gasoline on this thing, hit the pedal to the metal, and come out of this before we hit the slow time, and turn this into a great year. If this hasn't been a great year, you need to make some changes. And when things are slow, we've got a lot of contractors that have set up times for when those things are slow, and we're going to work on their business and so forth, and really make some things happen, as opposed to sitting on your ass watching, playing video games or whatever. You're going to use that time to implement these things and make some real changes in your business. John, any last words?
No last words, Dave. You buttoned it up.
I've said enough last words. All right. Hey, well, we appreciate everybody listening. Go to theroofershow.com. You can download a free one-page business plan. This will help you get things organized. And that's what it's all about, is getting the thoughts organized in your mind, and then picking out just one thing at a time. And we have this deal called the one thing. We've got a list of 1,000 different items that we've got to work on, different tasks, but you can't do them all. It's too scattered, okay? Take one, take two, take a few of these great ideas that you've gotten from these conferences and implement, make it happen, and take action, take that first step. So appreciate everybody listening. We will catch you next week. Hey, by the way, John, we've got our 400th show coming up in a couple of weeks.
Sweet.
And we need to come up with a good idea. 400 episodes of the Roofer Show. Believe that? I mean, been doing this for a while, I guess. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you next week. And thanks so much for listening.
Bye, everybody.